Before you check your messages, before you scroll another second, pause. This message found you for a reason. Chosen one, heaven has been watching you. The nights you cried quietly, the battles no one believed you were fighting, the moments you almost gave up, you thought you were forgotten. But listen carefully. God saw every betrayal, every closed door, every person who walked away when you needed them most. And today something is shifting. This is not a coincidence. This is not just another video. This is an urgent alert for your spirit. Because what you are feeling right now, that strange pressure, that exhaustion, that sense that something big is about to happen, it isn't random. The enemy tried to break you before this moment arrived. But God is about to reveal why you had to survive it. So don't leave. Not yet. Because what you're about to hear was meant for you today. Chosen one, listen carefully. I know the pain you carry. I saw the nights when your heart felt too heavy to hold. The moments when you asked in silence, why is this happening to me? The confusion, the betrayal, the doors that slammed shut when you needed them most. You thought it was punishment. You wondered if you had done something wrong, if you had somehow fallen out of favor, if the weight on your life meant you were forgotten. But I need you to hear me now. Your deepest pain was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing you. While you were crying, something was being built inside you, strength you didn't know you had, wisdom that comfort cannot teach, a spirit that refuses to break even when the world tries. Most people only grow when life is easy. But you were shaped in the fire. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every lonely night taught you how to hear my voice more clearly. Every disappointment forced you to look beyond people and lean on something greater. Lean on me. You thought the storm meant you were losing. But what you didn't see was that I was removing things that could not go where you are going. I was strengthening the parts of you that will carry your purpose. Because the assignment on your life is not small. You are meant to speak where others stay silent, to stand where others collapse, to bring light into places that have only known darkness. And that kind of calling cannot be built in comfort. It must be forged. Think about it. If your path had been easy, you would have trusted the wrong people. If your heart had never been broken, you would not understand the pain of those you are meant to help. If you had never felt alone, you would not recognize the power of my presence. Nothing you went through was wasted. Every tear counted. Every setback recorded. Every moment you thought you were falling apart was actually the moment you were being rebuilt. Stronger, wiser, unshakable. Chosen one, the enemy believed your pain would make you quit. He thought the pressure would silence you. But what he did not understand is that I was using every battle to prepare you for something greater than you can imagine. Your story is not ending in suffering. Your story is turning into purpose. And one day soon, you will look back at the seasons that almost broke you, and you will realize something that will take your breath away. Those moments were not the end of your life. They were the training ground for your destiny. So stand up again. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Because the pain you survived was never punishment. It was preparation. Preparation for the assignment that only you were chosen to carry. Chosen one, I know how deeply the rejection hurt you. I saw the moment their words cut through your heart. I saw how the silence from people you trusted felt louder than any shout. You gave loyalty and received distance. You gave love and received coldness. You showed up for them, but when you needed them, they disappeared. And in those quiet moments, you asked the question that echoed through your soul: why was I not enough? But listen to me now. You were never the problem. The rejection you experienced was not proof of your failure. It was the evidence of my protection. Because there are people who can walk with you in one season, but they cannot walk with you into your destiny. You didn't see it at the time. All you saw were the empty chairs, the broken conversations, the sudden distance. You felt abandoned. You felt confused. You wondered why relationships you fought so hard to keep were slipping through your hands. But what you thought was loss was actually separation for your future. Some people loved the version of you that stayed small, the version of you that didn't grow too much, the version of you that didn't challenge their comfort. But the calling on your life was always bigger than that. And if they had stayed, they would have held you back. They would have questioned your growth. They would have doubted your vision. They would have planted fear in the very place where courage needed to grow. So I allowed the distance, not to break your heart, but to free your path. Because destiny requires space. Space for your faith to grow. Space for your voice to rise. Space for the people who truly belong in your life to eventually find you. Chosen one, some exits were necessary, even the painful ones. I know you tried to hold on. I know you replayed conversations in your mind, wondering what you could have done differently. You searched for answers that never came. But the truth is, you were trying to keep people who were never meant to stay for the journey ahead. They were part of your story, but they were not part of your destination. And sometimes the greatest act of love I can give you is removing the people who cannot carry the weight of where you are going. Your destiny requires strength. Your destiny requires vision. Your destiny requires people who will stand beside you when the path becomes difficult. And those people are still ahead of you. So stop blaming yourself for the doors that closed. Stop mourning relationships that ended when your purpose began to grow. What left your life made room for what is aligned with your future. And one day soon, you will understand something powerful. The rejection that once made you feel unworthy was actually the moment your life was being redirected toward the destiny I prepared for you. You were never abandoned. You were being positioned. Positioned for purpose. Positioned for growth. Positioned for the life you were truly chosen to live. Oh, chosen one. There is something you must understand about the battles you've been facing. You thought they were just problems. Bad luck, difficult people, unfortunate circumstances. You tried to explain them with logic. You told yourself, maybe life is just hard right now. But deep inside, something in your spirit kept whispering that it was more than that. Because the attacks never came one at a time. They came in waves. Just when you started to heal, another situation appeared. Just when you began to rebuild, another obstacle rose in front of you. Just when you found a moment of peace, something tried to disturb it, and you wondered why your life felt like a battlefield. Listen to me now. Those battles were never ordinary problems. They were spiritual warfare over your purpose. You carry something within you that the world cannot easily understand, a calling, a light, a destiny that reaches far beyond what you currently see. And anything that carries that kind of purpose will face resistance, because darkness always reacts to light. The enemy saw your potential long before you did. He saw the strength growing inside you. He saw the lives you would one day influence. He saw the impact your voice, your courage, and your faith would have. So the attacks began early. Confusion, betrayal, fear, distractions meant to pull you away from who you were created to become. The goal was simple. If he could make you doubt yourself, if he could exhaust your spirit, if he could convince you that your struggles meant you were weak, then maybe you would walk away from your purpose before it ever fully awakened. But look at you. You are still here. After everything that tried to break you, you are still standing. After the nights of doubt, the days of loneliness, the moments when you felt like giving up, something inside you refused to die. That strength you feel, that is not just your willpower, that is the power I placed within you. Chosen one. Warriors are not created in comfort. They are formed in the middle of battle. Every attack sharpened your awareness. Every challenge strengthened your spirit. Every moment you survived made you more prepared for the path ahead. What tried to defeat you actually trained you. And now you are beginning to see the truth. The pressure around your life was never random. It was the reaction of darkness to the destiny you carry. But hear this clearly. The warfare around your life does not mean you are losing. It means you are dangerous to the darkness. And the reason you are dangerous is because the purpose within you cannot be destroyed. So do not fear the battles anymore. Stand taller. Because the same power that carried you through every attack is the power that will lead you into the destiny you were chosen to fulfill. And no war against your purpose will ever be strong enough to stop what I have already decided for your life. The chosen one, I know the silence you have been living in, the quiet rooms, the long nights, the empty spaces where voices used to be. There were days when you looked around and wondered how your world became so still. Friends faded away. Conversations became shorter. Invitations stopped coming. The noise of life slowly disappeared until all that was left was you and the quiet. And in that quiet, a painful thought began to grow. Have I been forgotten? You questioned your worth. You questioned your place. You wondered if the distance meant you had somehow been left behind while everyone else moved forward. But listen to me carefully. Chosen one, your season of isolation was never abandonment. It was training. While you thought you were alone, I was closer than you had ever experienced before. But in the noise of crowds, you could not hear my voice clearly. In the distractions of people's opinions, you could not fully see who you were becoming. So I allowed the quiet, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because the destiny placed on your life cannot be built in constant noise. It requires moments where your spirit becomes still enough to grow roots deep beneath the surface. In those lonely nights, you learn to depend on something greater than approval. In the absence of others, you discovered a strength that did not rely on applause. When no one else could guide you, You started learning how to listen, truly listen. That is where your real transformation began. Chosen ones are not shaped in crowded rooms. They are formed in hidden places. Think about everything that changed within you during that time. Your vision became clearer. Your awareness sharpened. The things that once distracted you began to lose their hold. The noise of the world faded, and something deeper inside you began to rise. That was not loneliness. That was alignment. While the world believed you were simply going through a quiet season, something sacred was happening behind the scenes. Your spirit was being strengthened. Your heart was being refined. Your purpose was quietly taking shape where no one else could see it. The isolation felt heavy because you did not yet understand what it was building. But one day soon, the very strength you developed in silence will become the foundation of everything you are called to do. You will walk into rooms where others crumble under pressure, yet you will remain steady because you were trained in solitude. You will carry wisdom that cannot be taught in crowds because you learned it in the quiet places of reflection. And when people ask how you became so strong, you will remember the nights when it felt like no one was there. Chosen one, those were the moments I was preparing you, not in public, not in applause, but in secret. Because the greatest destinies are often built where no one is watching. And the quiet season you survived was never the end of your story. It was the hidden beginning of who you were always meant to become. Chosen one, I see the weight you are carrying right now. The pressure feels different, doesn't it? It's heavier than before. The emotions feel deeper. The challenges seem to be coming from every direction. Some days you wake up already tired, as if your spirit has been fighting battles all night. Your mind races with questions, your heart feels stretched, and the road ahead looks uncertain. And in those moments, you wonder if the pressure means you are breaking. But listen to me carefully. What you are feeling right now is not the sign of your defeat. It is the sign that something is about to change. Because before every breakthrough, there is pressure. Think about the seed buried beneath the soil. Before it ever becomes a tree, it must push through the darkness of the ground. The weight above it feels impossible. The resistance is constant. And yet something inside that seed keeps pushing upward. Not because the pressure is destroying it, but because the pressure is forcing it to grow. Chosen one, your life is in that very moment. You are pushing through a season that feels tight, uncomfortable, and overwhelming because something inside you is expanding beyond the limits of your past. Your vision is growing. Your strength is growing. Your purpose is growing. And growth always brings pressure. The enemy wants you to believe that this moment means you are stuck. He whispers thoughts of doubt into your mind. He tries to convince you that the struggle will never end, that the weight will never lift. But what he does not want you to realize is this. Pressure increases when something is about to break open. The reason the battle feels intense right now is because you are closer to your breakthrough than you have ever been before. You have survived too much to turn back now. Think about everything you have already overcome. The rejection that once crushed your heart. The loneliness that tried to silence your voice. The confusion that made you question your path. Yet somehow you kept moving forward. Not perfectly, not without tears, but you kept going, and that perseverance has brought you to this moment, right at the edge of transformation. The pressure you feel is not the end of your journey. It is the final stretching before the door opens. It is the final test before your strength becomes visible. It is the moment when everything you have learned begins to take shape in your life. Chosen one, do not run from the pressure, stand in it, because the same force that feels like it is squeezing your life is actually pushing you into the next chapter of your destiny. Very soon, the things that once blocked your path will begin to move. The answers you have been waiting for will start appearing. The opportunities that once seemed distant will come into view. And when that moment arrives, you will look back at this season and understand something powerful. The pressure you feared was never meant to crush you. It was preparing you for the breakthrough that was already on its way. Chosen one, there is something about you that has always felt different. You noticed it long ago, even when you tried to fit in. Something inside you never felt completely comfortable in the crowd. You watched others move easily with the flow of the world. But your spirit kept pulling you in another direction. At times, that difference felt like a burden. You wondered why your heart was so sensitive to things others ignored. Why you questioned paths that everyone else seemed happy to follow. Why your mind searched for deeper meaning while others were satisfied with what was easy. And sometimes, because of that difference, you felt alone. People misunderstood you. Some called you too intense. Others said you were thinking too deeply about life. There were moments when you tried to quiet that voice inside you, hoping that if you just blended in, life would feel simpler. But that voice never disappeared, because it was never meant to. Chosen one, you were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out. The difference you felt was not a mistake in your design. It was the mark of the destiny placed on your life. While others were comfortable walking familiar paths, something inside you was being prepared to walk where few are willing to go. You carry a perspective that sees beyond appearances. You notice pain in people that others overlook. You sense possibilities where others only see limitations. That awareness is not random. It is part of the calling within you. Your life was never meant to be lived only for yourself. The struggles you endured, the lessons you learned, the strength you built through difficult seasons, those experiences are shaping you into someone who will influence the lives of others. There are people you have not even met yet who will one day find hope because of your story. There are hearts that will rise again because your courage shows them what survival looks like. There are paths that will open for others because you had the strength to walk forward when the road was unclear. But before that impact can happen, you had to learn something important. You had to stop apologizing for who you are. For too long, you questioned your uniqueness. You wondered if it would be easier to become smaller, quieter, more acceptable to the world around you. But shrinking your spirit was never part of the plan. Chosen one, the very qualities that made you feel different are the qualities that will make your destiny powerful. Your empathy will heal. Your strength will inspire. Your courage will guide. The world does not need another person who blends into the noise. It needs people who are willing to carry light into places that have grown dark. And that is who you were created to be. So stop trying to hide the fire inside you. Stop measuring your worth by how well you match the expectations of others. You were designed with purpose, shaped through struggle, and strengthened through every challenge for a reason far greater than you can see right now. You were never meant to disappear into the crowd. You were chosen to become the kind of light that helps others find their way forward. Chosen one, pause for a moment and look back at your life. Think about all the moments when everything seemed like it was about to fall apart. The times when the situation looked impossible. The times when the odds were stacked against you. The moments when it felt like one more hit would finally break you. There were people who tried to tear you down. Situations that should have swallowed your future. Mistakes that could have ended your story before it truly began. And yet here you are. Still breathing. Still standing. Still moving forward. Have you ever wondered why? Because what you thought was luck was never luck at all. It was my protection. There were dangers you never saw coming that I quietly moved out of your path. Opportunities that disappeared before you could reach them. And at the time you thought it was loss, but it was actually protection from something that would have wounded you deeper. There were people who walked away from your life, and it felt like betrayal. But what you did not realize was that their presence could have damaged the future you were being prepared to carry. Even in the moments when you made mistakes, even when you took paths that led you into confusion, my hand never left you. Chosen one. Protection does not always look like comfort. Sometimes protection looks like closed doors. Sometimes it feels like delays. Sometimes it feels like being redirected when you were certain you knew where you wanted to go. But every redirection had a reason. There were storms meant to destroy you, yet somehow you survived them. There were moments when your strength should have run out, yet something inside you kept going. That something was never just your willpower. It was the covering over your life. You are still here because your story was never meant to end in those battles. Every time darkness thought it had finally cornered you, something unseen stepped in and shifted the outcome. Think about the close calls you've experienced. The situations that could have taken everything from you. The moments when you later realized just how narrowly you escaped something worse. Those were not coincidences. Those were reminders. Reminders that your life carries purpose too valuable to be left unguarded. The enemy tried again and again to stop you before your destiny could unfold. But every attempt met a wall he could not break through. My protection. And that protection has not disappeared. It is still covering you now. Even in the uncertainty you feel today, even in the battles you are currently fighting, there is a shield around your life that cannot be seen with human eyes, but is stronger than anything trying to harm you. Chosen one, you were never fighting alone. Every step of your journey has been watched, guided and guarded. And the reason you have been protected through every storm is simple. Your story is not finished. Your purpose is still unfolding. And the same divine protection that carried you through your past will continue to guard the destiny that lies ahead of you. Listen, because something inside your spirit is beginning to wake up right now. You thought your pain was proof that something was wrong with your life. You thought the weight you carried meant you were being punished. You thought the tears, the loneliness, the sleepless nights were signs that you were falling behind while everyone else was moving forward. But what if I told you that none of it was wasted? What if I told you that while you were crying, something was being built inside of you that could not be built in comfort? Your pain was never random. It was preparation. Every betrayal you survived was sharpening your discernment. Every disappointment was teaching you how to stand strong, even when people walked away. Every moment you felt like giving up was actually the moment your spirit was being trained to endure something greater than what you could see. You didn't realize it at the time, but you were being shaped in the secret places of your life. When you felt alone, you were actually being protected from relationships that would have drained your destiny. When doors closed unexpectedly, you were being redirected toward paths you were not yet strong enough to walk. When things didn't happen when you wanted them to, it was because timing was being aligned with purpose. There were moments when you thought you were losing control of your life. But heaven was never out of control. Unseen protection was surrounding you when danger was closer than you realized. Strength was being placed inside your spirit when you felt weakest. Wisdom was growing quietly inside you when you thought you were confused. And now something is starting to change. Can you feel it? That stirring in your heart, that sense that your life is about to shift. That quiet knowing that you didn't survive everything just to stay where you are. You were not preserved through all those battles just to remain stuck in survival mode. You were preserved for destiny activation. Because chosen ones are not only healed, they are launched. They are not only restored, they are released into purpose. The pain you survived was not the story of your ending. It was the construction site of your calling. Every tear was recorded as evidence that you refused to quit. Every struggle was documented as proof that you were strong enough for what is coming next. And right now you are standing on the edge of something powerful. Not destruction, transition, not defeat, destiny awakening. The life you were meant to live is beginning to call your name louder than your past ever could. So rise, not with fear, but with the quiet, powerful confidence that everything you went through was preparing you for the moment you are stepping into right now. Chosen one, this is not where your story ends. You are not standing here alone. Through every tear, every battle, every night you thought you couldn't go on, I was there. When you felt forgotten, I was holding your future in my hands. When you felt weak, my strength was quietly living inside your spirit, keeping you standing when you didn't even know how you were still breathing. Rise now, not as someone defeated by life, but as someone forged by it. The enemy failed because your destiny was already protected. Your purpose is still alive. Your story is still unfolding. Doors are about to open that were once closed. Opportunities are coming that you never had to fight for, because I have already prepared them for you. Stand up again. Walk forward in faith. Walk in victory. Because you were never abandoned, you were chosen. And your divine destiny is still calling your name.